October 2nd, 1991. Deanna Weiss was anxious. Her mother, Fran Smith, should have been home. But for days she'd called and gotten no answer. Finally, a response.
Yeah.
It was John David Smith, her mother's second husband. And what he said shocked her. Smith did not know where her mother was. He thought she had gone to visit her.
Okay, yeah.
Smith felt sure she was overreacting when she insisted he contact police.
All right, bye.
He reluctantly agreed. Smith arrived at police headquarters in West Windsor, New Jersey,
Thank you, sir.
to file a missing persons report. He told the officer a couple of days before he had arrived home from work only to find a note left by his wife. It told him to feed the fish, that she would be back in a few days. Confused, he tossed the note in the trash. They'd been married a year and a half. Though she'd recently talked about wanting to travel, this was, for Fran, unusual behavior. Days turned to weeks, and there was still no sign of her. Deanna, Fran's daughter from a previous marriage, arrived in town highly alarmed, as did Fran's sister, Sherry Gladden Davis.
We handed out flyers and we talked to people all up and down the street where Fran worked. There is no way that Fran would have gone any place without Dee Dee or I, one, knowing where she was.
The women suspected that Fran's husband had not told the whole story. Local police also had their suspicions. Bob Hilland recalls the case.
I first learned of her disappearance while I was in uniform patrol, and back in the fall of '91. During roll call, we learned that a woman in our town named Fran Smith was missing and to be on the lookout for her.
According to friends and relatives, Fran was a friendly, stable woman who worked as an executive secretary. Her husband was, by all accounts, a quiet, hard-working engineer with a penchant for sports cars. Lead detective Mike Dansbury interviewed Smith several times in the months following the disappearance. Each time, he was left with more questions than answers.
There were a lot of inconsistencies in the initial report that John had provided to the police. Number one, Betty Fran was incapacitated.
A month before she vanished, Fran slipped and broke her hip. She was recovering at home.
Here was a woman who couldn't walk out of her own house or downstairs without the assistance of crutches or a walker. She couldn't drive a car. She didn't have any money. And all of a sudden she vanishes off the face of the earth and nobody knows where she is.